Hi, everybody. My name is Rita Crompton, and I am also known as the Inventor Later. Is it hot enough for everybody? Holy mackerel. I am in Denver. We are steaming out here. But that said, at least you know it's summertime. And today's topic is messages from the experts. I've had the opportunity recently in the last week, all right, when I was out in New England area, to really have some heart-to-hearts with inventors who have been there, done that, both licensing and startup side, people who work in the industry with inventors, getting you teed up and licensed. So this is what we talked about. Our biggest frustration is when we hear inventors who've gone down the road with their aha moment and just get hit with all kinds of conflicting information. So my first message to you is be proud of the path you're on. All right. Archimedes Offspring is named that for a reason. It's to be proud of our heritage. Archimedes was one of the most prolific early inventors of all time. You're on the same path with the guys who did the airplane, the Wright brothers, with the guys who did the computers and the telephone and the Barbie doll, for goodness sakes. Be proud of where you are. Gatorade, a licensing deal. Be proud of the path you're on. However, that path is full of holes and carnivorous animals that want a piece of you. And the inventing industry has become fraught with peril. All right. And been working on some creative writing, so you can tell. Look at the facts. You know in your gut if it sounds right or it sounds wrong. Most inventors, independent, and I'm talking independent inventors, not people who are working for the corporations that they're, obligated to. Independent inventors. You had an aha moment when you were mowing the lawn, cleaning the dog, taking care of a sick baby. You're a hairdresser, you're a truck driver, and you had your aha moment. All right. Yeah, Barbie doll was an aha moment too. So, take those aha moments and run with them the right direction. So when you have your aha moment, do your own digging around. All right. Do your own research. All right. Searching and see what you find, and ask yourself, this idea, could it be used someplace else? This tool, this device, could it be used in a different industry? All right. Good intellectual property is not industry specific, size specific, or material specific. We see an amazing crossover between tools you use on a car engine and tools that get used in surgery. When I tell people that, they go, yeah, it makes sense. All right. So you need to ask yourself, is there something here or there that would throw my idea out the window? So when you go looking, kind of take the blinders off. I know you don't want to find it. It is amazing how often someone tells me, nobody's had that idea before, and we find a dozen of them when we're doing a comprehensive search. So really take a look. All right. The most expensive idea you will ever have is your first one. All right. Because that's the one where you're going to make all the mistakes. Try not to make the mistakes. Try to learn. So you do searching. All right. You build your own version of a prototype. Duct tape, cardboard, whatever you can. And these are things that when we were sitting around in the backyard last week, we were talking about inventors who do it right. This is the way you do it. We've also talked to George, who, if only I had done it this way. And we were talking to Brian, if only I had done it this way. I learned, but it cost me. So what we want to be able to do is take the lessons from other inventors. You do as much searching as you can. You build your own version of a prototype. You'll learn a lot. I had somebody show me their prototype one time, and it was something that was, on the bed. And I said, well, how are you going to hook it and make sure it doesn't fall off? And they go, okay, well, we never really thought about that. It's like when you're doing your own prototype a lot of times, and all of a sudden you think, oh yeah, I forgot that part. Before you've spent a lot of money on something, you want to see what you forgot. And that first prototype, whatever it's made out of, you can say, oh yeah, I need to account for this. So those are good lessons, right? Then you have an independent search done. If you're using an attorney, keep in mind that you'll pay their hourly rate. If you're using a firm, you want them just to do the search. All right, it needs to be comprehensive. There's 3 parts to a search that make it a good search. The USPTO, United States Patent and Trademark Office, by classification, all right, an international search, all right, and a product search. There's a 2.5-year blind spot at the USPTO, and it's a legitimate blind spot. And a lot of people during that patent pending stage will put up a website, they'll go to a trade show so we can find things online. That's what you want to be able to accomplish. You want to know, that's one of the other mistakes we see, in the biggest challenges for inventors is not really understanding all the steps to the process. So you make mistakes early on, you might pay for market research. No, that's going to cost you $10, $12, $15,000. They don't have any skin in the game. If they call it wrong, you've spent a lot of money that you could have used someplace else, right? Go to a trade show, take your prototype and patent pending status and go to a trade show. Talk to the people there who would be reselling it. When you do that, you could find out, what does the price point need to be? All right, what should the packaging look like? Packaging has changed a lot in the last few years on what stores are willing to accept, right? Bigger chains will tell you what kind of packaging they want. Well, if you're selling online, you can put it in a Ziploc bag with a label on it and be fine. Stores aren't going to accept that. Learn the barriers to entry before you've started spending money. So that's one of them. So when we talk about, those challenges and the things that give us indigestion when an inventor comes to us and says, all right, well, this is what I've done and I'm out of money. It's like, well, if we'd had some of that money you spent on the mistakes to stretch it down the road a little bit, you'd have the chance that you need. Archimedes Offspring fills in that gap. We want to talk to inventors sooner rather than later so we can avoid the mistakes that were made. And then we want to help get it teed up. So for that mentorship and, the understanding of the process, we want to be able to guide you and say, okay, here's the next step. This is the pendulum swinging on what it's going to cost. Here's some options in service providers compared to the service providers you're going to take a look at, and be able to say, okay, this is how we're going to manage this business decision. Every decision you make is a business decision, and it's made based on the criteria that you gathered, the details you gathered on the last step. And so, you're reassessing. It's Archimedes Offspring is the same way. When we were doing the vetting team or even the management team after you're chosen, it is managing the information you gathered on the last step to move forward with the next step. Ask yourself in your gut what sounds right. All right. It'll resonate. It's like, that sounds too good to be true. Then it's probably not going to be true. You understand you cannot look in a crystal ball. I wish I could, but I can't. All right. Money doesn't grow on trees. It's not a bottomless pit. We all get that. So how do we manage this? One step at a time. You can go to Inventor Lady and download the Inventor's Galaxy Guide. It talks you through the 7 phases, gives you a pendulum swing on what to expect as far as costs. There's also a link to Archimedes Offspring that you can go to, look at the application for the vetting. We sign a non-disclosure. These are all steps, one step at a time. All right. So when you're going through it, does it make sense? One step at a time. These are business decisions. One step at a time. Ask yourself, what sounds right? A crystal ball or one step at a time? Most inventors, all right, I think there's a book out there, How to Make $1 Million Off Your Idea. No, that is one of the fantasy land books. All right, it's not going to happen that way. Inventors who license so that somebody else is going to do the heavy lifting, they're going to make it, sell it, send you a check. All right, you make extra disposable income. It might make a car payment, pay for a vacation, pay some tuition to a private school for the kids. Right, those are the things that we're looking at. And, when I get a serial inventor that's had several aha moments and they're really good at solving problems on consumer gadgets, yeah, they may quit their day job. But for your average person with that aha moment, it's extra disposable income. And every once in a while, yes, somebody says, well, what about this? There's exceptions to everything. I'm talking average, all right? Average, ballpark. And this is what we're looking at. So follow me, all right? I'm happy to give you more information and talk about these issues. If you've got a specific question, let me know. And sometimes it's enough to do a whole broadcast on. So anyway, have a wonderful day. Enjoy your summer. And I will talk to you on Friday. Bye now.